You also mentioned managing expectations with people that you have conversations with. And I think that's a very interesting conversation that needs to be had in the sense of like, at this point, there's a bunch of people that reach out to me saying, hey, you know, like I'd love to become a musician. Like, do you have any tips kind of thing? You know, like I like music. This is an interesting conversation right here. I really like music. I'd like to become a musician. And like you said, managing expectations to some degree, I'm like, if you have to flat out be like, yo, this, like your parents were concerned. This life kind of sucks for a long, long time, you
Oh
know?
yeah, man.
And like,
Yeah.
but the only reason we stick it out is because like I don't have another option. Like this is what I have to do. Like I don't have like
Yeah.
you know my wife and I have been together for a long time, but when we were first got married and a little before then, like she's like, hey, like I'm concerned. Like you're not making any money, and I'm like, I look if they ever get to a point where we can't eat, I will go get a day job. But like I don't have a plan B. Like this is it, you know. So if that's you, then then go for it because you'll likely stick it out. But if it's like, hey, I kind of like it. I tell this one story because it's funny. When I first dropped out of college, I was never poor. I lived with my parents, but I didn't have
Sure.
extra
Yeah.
cash. Right? They weren't funding my life. Right?
Yeah. Right.
So it was pretty much what like if I wanted to go out with friends, I had to pay for it. Right?
Right. Yeah.
Now I dropped out and I was 18, and all of my friends that were in my age were still in college. So I started hanging out
Right.
with the older people, the older crowd, they in the later 20s, the early 30s, right? So they were going out to lunch one day, and I was so lonely because I had no friends because everybody else was in school or
That
working, and
was
I was
me. That
working
was
in
me
my
too.
basement, right, by myself. I was so lonely. So I was like, I want to go out to lunch, but I had no money. So I literally took chicken pot pie in a Tupperware to the restaurant with them, so they all
Amazing.
They
Yeah.
everybody was offering to pay, probably more so because they were embarrassed of me.
Yeah. We got it. We got it. We got it. We got it. Yeah. Put that away. Put that away. We got it.
Oh shoot, man! But if you're
Dude.
not willing to do that to some degree, like I don't know if you'll stick it
Yeah.
out. You know,
I mean, yeah, I agree. I mean, I think it's I'm in the same boat. I always say, like, man, I'm not. It's a good thing I'm pretty good at guitar because I'm not good at anything else. And certainly at this point, I mean, I'm 20 years in. At this point, it's like there's no other option for me. Like this
Sure.
is it's gonna look like my career is going to look like what it looks like, but this is going to be my career. But like man, I completely relate to the part you're talking about too, because I was in the exact same boat. Like when I came out of college and said I was going to play guitar, it was like all my friends were in college.
Sure.
All my high school, the kids I grew up with, like they're in
Mm-hmm.
college. And I remember like going and having a couple hangs with like some of them, or like seeing some of their family, and then the parents being like, "And where are you in school, Derek?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm not. I'm here. I'm going to play guitar now." And you could just see on their face, they're like, "Ooh,
100%.
pray for that kid," like he's, "Oh sure, oh, what's your band called?" I was like, "No,
Yeah.
no, I'm just gonna be I don't have a band." And they'd be like, "Oh, okay." And yeah, you could just feel it's like they stamped failure on your head.
Oh
You
man, I
could
relate to
feel
that so unbelievably much.
Yeah, you felt it.
100%.
That was the whole
100%.
thing. Because it's just a hard, especially when you're trying to get it going. There's not a lot of like tangible wins that other people can see. Now, being first person, POV, like you're trying to start the music business, you can see some of the small wins, and you're reading the terrain, and you're the guy on, running the miles going, "Whew, mile 6 got easier today.
Mm-hmm.
Mile 8 got it." But if they're like, "Well, what races have you run?" It's like, "Well, none." Like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, okay. But do you go to the Olympic?" "No." "Well, I'm a runner." "Oh, okay, sure." And so there's not a lot of big tangible wins for people when you're in that phase of your career to get on board and rally around. It takes some sort of name associate, it takes you saying, "Well, I work with blank that they know," or "This song, oh, I know that song," or, or sometimes it's financial, or sometimes it's like, "Yeah, I did this thing and it paid a lot of money and I got it." So it's really hard.
Yeah.
At any age, if you're a kid starting out, if you're in your, later in life starting out, that part of the career is so hard to have a bunch of people that can be supportive around you, because there's just not a lot of tangible victories where they can say, it's harder for them to kind of earmark the progress that you're having. You're the only person that can kind of see it.
That is so true, man.